What is up, guys, and welcome back to Wrench Avengers. In this video, we're going to be making a fuse and relay panel. The main reason for this is just to make wiring up accessories a little bit easier and cleaner. Most of what I'm going to be using this for is not even really necessary. I don't really need relays. It's all going to be pretty low amp stuff. I could just use a switch and go on with it, but I digress. I filmed this a little while ago, and I didn't really explain, what a relay is or how it works until a little bit later in the video. So if you start watching this and you're a little bit lost, don't worry about it. Just keep watching, and I will eventually explain. Or you could skip around. It's whatever. Or don't watch the video because it's garbage. But if you do find yourself with some questions, just go ahead and post them down in the comments, and I'll do my best to respond and answer them as best I can. But with that being said, let's get into the video.
I said, do we have a panel?
Okay, so I will apologize for the weak sauce audio that's going to be on this video here, because I don't feel like pulling out my other recording gear, and so I'm just going to record straight to the camera. But obviously we got our fuse block, or just chunk of fuses. I've removed the middle thing. It goes to pin 87A or whatever it is. It was a red wire on these. I removed it because the red pin is for people with tiny peepees. Anyway, so only thing I've done to this point is I've stuck these together, and I've drilled some holes, which will probably be impossible for you to be able to see, but I've drilled some holes for mounting. So I've got a 6-point fuse block with a positive and negative terminal, negative along top, positive along bottom. Obviously there's only 6 here, and I've got 8 relays, because I've got 2 relays that are actually just going to switch a ground signal. I've got 2 that I'm going to need to send a ground switch to, and the switches that I'm going to have for the car are all LED switches. They've got LEDs on them, and so I have to send power through those, so it's going to send a 12-volt signal. Well, it'll send a 12-volt signal to the relay, which will then switch that in the 2 that it's connecting. So in this case is the yellow and blue. So it's going to actually connect together when the relay's live. And so one's going to go to the ECU and one's going to go to ground. So whenever the switch is on, it triggers the relay just to ground out a wire on the ECU. So that's what these 2 are going to be for. The other 6 I'm going to run to the fuse block so they can actually run through the fuses. Some of them will be wired up in basically a constant method, and some will be wired up in a switched method, so that basically I can have some constant power from these and some switched power. The thing is, for my constant power stuff, the relay is kind of overkill. Everything that I've gotten here is probably going to be sub 5 amps, maybe 10 amps max for all the stuff that I'm going to be powering off of this. But for the sake of ease, when it comes to wiring everything up, connecting everything together, as well as getting some that are an easily accessible switched power source, using the relay is a great way to do that, and just makes things nice and clean. I can have it all in one spot. And then at the end, I've got one of these that everything will just plug into, and it gives me a nice, easy, simple spot for everything to connect into. You've seen people do these before. They're super simple. It's a great way to learn more about an automotive relay and how they work, and how to wire them up. So I'd suggest, if you want some accessory power in your car, this is a great project to do just for the hell of it. And if you don't even have a use for it, do it anyway. It's fun, and relatively inexpensive. So I'm pretty much going to be wiring up this the same way everybody else does, but hopefully can keep it as clean as possible, and at the end of the day, it should do exactly what I need it to do. So for starters, what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw down my relays, and then kind of mark out where my holes are going to be, and then I'm going to drill some more holes because I'm going to feed all the wires through the back side of the plastic. That way I can mount this kind of in the middle, and they can have other holes up here and it'll come back up into it. It'll be nice and real clean look. I'm gonna set it up and go from there.
Dead Yummy.
Okay, so you get the rough idea here. Everything's gonna run back in behind, and then we'll drill holes for where it needs to come up at. I didn't obviously measure anything out perfectly, so it's just kind of like is what it is, where it's at, which is gonna be fine. Doesn't need to be perfect in my eyes, just needs to be looking decent. So I'll finish running the rest of these in. We can kind of map out where everything else needs to go. Alright, so that's kind of what we got. And then the back side looks like this. Like that picture of Homer Simpson. Okay, now that all these guys are up, let's figure out where we want to put this and which side we want to put up. I'm thinking put the ground along the top closest to the bits, and then let the power leads come in from this side. But if I ever want to attach something else to this ground, it'd probably be easier if the grounds were down. Alright, so what we've got that's going to power off of this is we've got a wideband. I want it to have its own clean power, which it's going to be switched with basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a constant to here and to here, and then once I've got, because you know how a relay works, right? So two of these, so I've got a regular five post relay. I'm using it as a 4-post because we're not using that middle one. Basically, we'll send power from the battery from here. Right? Or am I backwards on this? Yep, sorry. So we'll send power from the battery on 30. And then, what is it? 85 will go out to the ground. 86 will go to our switch source, our power in source. And then this top one, 87, will go out to our device. What we're doing is power comes in here, comes out, power comes in here, and then we send power to this one, and that energizes the relay, which goes across to the ground. So whenever this connection is made, it makes this connection. So what we'll do is we'll send power from, like, say, the radio, the switched 12 volt from the radio. When the key is on, it will energize this. send power across here to the ground, which will then energize whatever we're powering. So say it's the wideband, right? So when the key kicks on, it will send power to the wideband out of the yellow wire in our scenario. So what we need to do is then send blue, because we need our constant 12 volt for blue, will come to the constant power here. Our black will just come over to the ground side. And then, so then we'll have our yellow and white come down to our distribution block down here somewhere. And what will happen is we'll see like a white and a yellow for each. The white being our switch source and the yellow being our device. So we'll come down here with that, and so we'll send in from the radio, say our 12 volt switch from the radio will go here to number 1, which will go to our white, and then out we'll head to the wideband. And so when 12 volts hits this, it will energize our number 1 guy here, and our number 1 relay, and send power out number 2. Understand? Clear as mud? Pretty easy. Okay, I think I got it all brained out here. I've got everything labeled, and basically what it does is all the stuff that I know that I'm going to need to power right off of this thing, I've got, plus I have 1 spare relay for me to be able to use for whatever I want. For now, I'm going to wire it up the way that I wire up most of them, which is in a switched position, so that they'll be good. Whereas the only one I've got right now is I'm going to run this as constant, and that'll be for the gauges, because the gauges will need a constant 12 volt. Currently, they're going to go through a 10 amp fuse. Really, they probably only need 5, and I may switch it, but right now my plan is to run that. That's what I've got this white one here for. I'm going to put these two together, and that'll basically force this relay to always be on when it's got 12 volts to it over here. That relay will be on, which is fine. That's what we're looking for, to get a constant power. Now, again, don't really need to have a relay to do that, because I could just plug straight into here. But for the sake of what I'm doing, to keep everything tidy, that's what I'm going to do. Worst case scenario, we're eating up, 100 milliamps. We'll see. If it becomes a problem, I'll change it. But I don't see that being a problem, just using a relay like that. Let's see, next thing is just going to be clipping these guys down and crimping ends on them. I may, do like these first 2 and then go do like these first 2 and then take this off out of my way and clip them, because I think it'll be easier to crimp with that thing out of my way. But I don't know, it may not be the end of the world. And I took my heat shrinkable ones and clipped them down a bit, and so they should fit on there good and still be able to heat shrink after they're crimped, and should be fine. So that's the next job. Alrighty, well, here it is in all its glory. At some point my camera died, and I tried to kind of pick back up, but I have no idea where it died at. So, doesn't matter. This is it. It's all put together. I'm gonna take this little covery thing off. Got stuff labeled up. Obviously this guy is offset to the side. The reason for that is these 3 wires dangling out the back side are from these last 2 relays. One of the yellows is for this, which is going to be the constant, so I only need a yellow for it instead of a yellow and a white like I did here. And then this one's going to be just an extra one. It's going to be yellow and a white, and since I only have 12 of these, I couldn't hook all of them up, so I've ordered another smaller one that I'll either put right next to this or I'll put it up in this area. I'm not sure yet. We'll see when I get it in. So that's it for now, because I don't really need that all completely finished right this second. So you can see I've got labels on everything. Labeled the relays and what I need. So you can see here with the arrows, we're gonna have from the switch, it'll be 12 volt from the switch, whether it be a physical switch on the dashboard or whether it be like the switch power from the radio or from a cigarette lighter or something. Your 12 volt will come in here. When that is powered, that will which one's this? This is the gauge one, so it's here. So when your 12 volt comes in here, it will cross over here and complete that circuit, which then completes this circuit of the blue wire to the yellow wire, and so then we come out with 12 volts on it, versus on these over here, because the way we've got them wired up slightly differently, but it's the same thing. We're gonna have 12 volts from the switch come in here, and then coming out is actually gonna be a ground signal, because we've wired this blue to the ground, so it completes this blue to the yellow. That'll send it out ground on these 2. But I've made sure to label kind of everything, what they're going to be doing. That way that it's easy to, whenever I go to wire everything up, all I got to do is look and see where it goes. Nice and easy, nice and clean. Anybody interested, here's what the back side looks like. Not too bad, not too messy. These screws are still way too long, but when I get to the shop, I'll cut those down so that they're not sticking out and all pokey. But it's not too bad under here. Basically, this guy's just going to go up underneath the dash somewhere. I'll probably screw in or drill some holes off to the side where my positive and negative will come in, just to keep that clean looking. Then you got this little cover for it, and that's going to be a nice, easy, clean way to supply 12 volt power to things, whether it be gauges or whatever, what have you. Right now I've got mostly 5 amp, but a couple of 10 amp fuses. Most of what I'm powering is probably going to be 5 amps, so I'll probably just switch those 10 amps out for 5 amp fuses, or smaller if I need to. This fuse block is good for up to 75 amps complete, total, 75 amps total, or 30 amps a piece, so you can't exceed 30 amps per channel, but it will do 75 in total. I'm not going to get anywhere close to that with the stuff that I'm wiring, so we should be plenty safe. So, alrighty, that's it, guys. I assume I will go ahead and put a link in the description to everything down there, to everything on here. I'll put a link in the description to all the parts and stuff that I got, in case you're interested in buying these things. Make it easier for you to find them. Outside of that, don't know if I'm doing anything else for this video, so if not, then I'll either finish it in the office or I don't know.
Alright, now that this long and boring video is finished, you can get back to watching Gundam Wing reruns on Toonami Aftermath. If you have any questions about why I did this, how I did this, how something works, or whatever, just post it in the comments and I'll respond and help out any way that I can. Other than that, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you disliked it. Leave me a comment, whether it's a question or you want to tell me the video sucked, go for it, because it did. But yeah, thanks for watching, consider subscribing, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.